an upgrade and really kept a close eye on Cody really since he's been in the NFL. And he's really been what we expected and I expected. He's a consistent guy. He's got a great approach. He's really a professional approach. He's a very good self-evaluator, and a lot of times it might sound simple, but as a kicker, that's a big thing, to being able to self-correct a lot of times. He's got a great demeanor. He never gets too high, never gets too low, and he's been consistent since he got into the league. Now, hopefully that continues, but I've been having pleasure working with him. He's been really good, not only in the field goal area, but also on the kickoff area. We asked him to do a bunch of different things between deep kicks, short kicks, onside kicks, whatever it is we've asked him to do. I think he's performed very well in that regard. So he's been a great welcome addition. Matt Hawk, so far through this year, I think everybody saw or has seen at the points. His talent level is very, very high. He's got a really, really good skill set. You saw last week his ability to pin the opponent was really big in that particular game. I think he had 7 punts inside the 20. And really the one that he didn't, he actually hit a great ball. It just carried on him into the end zone. And so, I think he's been maybe a little bit disappointed with maybe some consistency stuff. But again, to me, that's any rookie at any position is going to have some peaks and valleys. But I'm very, very pleased with his overall performance. I think he's second or third right now in the AFC in punts inside the 20 or whatever it is. And the sky's the limit for him. He's really just scratching the surface, in my opinion. He's a young punter with a lot of ability. And, again, being a lefty and all those things, I know everyone's talked about that, but really he's just a really good punter. Forget about lefty-righty. And really excited about his future. And so both those guys have been really welcome additions. It's been great. Obviously having John, the veteran there to work with these guys. I know they're different positions, but just kind of the everyday mentality, approach. There's not a better professional in the building than John Denny, and I've said that many times. And so for those guys to be able to work with him on a daily basis has been huge as well. And Cody kind of had that already, but, for Matt, I think it's a great thing to come in and have two guys that are really, with the approach and mentality that those two guys have, that's really helped Matt out in his rookie season. And it's really laid a really solid foundation for him. So bottom line is I'm really pleased with where both of those guys are.
Do you have any, great deep stats or info on Parkey, something that will just blow our minds about how awesome he is?
I mean, like I said, he really has just done really well in all the areas. I know a lot of people will point to the 3 missed extra points, and I get it. One was a little bit of a field thing, and the ground. One was the last play of the game in the Jets game, and I'm not making excuses for him, but he's been really consistent in all the other ways. No, you know what? It's just there's not one stat I'm going to throw at you. I really like his everyday approach. He knows exactly what he does. He has a routine from the minute he walked in the door. He kind of had a routine. This is what I'm going to do, and this is how we're going to handle it. And he's really done that every step of the way. And so I don't have one stat on top of my mind to blow you out of the water. But I mean, I know since he's been in the league, he's been a guy that's made field goals, and hopefully that continues.
Rizzi, you've coached Jarvis his entire career. How would you describe his importance to this team and to your group?
Sure. Overall team, I think since the moment Jarvis got in here and started playing in games, everybody kind of saw what he brings to the team in terms of kind of an electric guy. He's an unbelievable competitor. And no matter where I've coached college and the NFL, and then this is my 25th season, I don't know if I can say I had a more competitive guy than Jarvis on game day. He's really... he brings a lot of energy to the team, to the sideline. He's very into the game, and so that's really contagious. And and when he first got here, he's a guy that obviously can wear a lot of different hats. He's a punt and kick return. We know what he can do as a wide receiver. But even when he got here, he was covering kickoffs. Most people forget about that. He's a guy that really has done a lot of things, and he's a guy that wants the ball, and there's something to be said for that. And there's a guy that doesn't like getting the ball. He wants the ball. I think there's a fine line between the two. He's got an extremely high football IQ, understands the game, loves sitting in my special teams meeting and watches situations and things like that. And he'll talk about it during the game. Last week is a good example. We had 2 safeties. How often do you get 2 kickoff returns after a safety? I mean, we haven't had one in forever, and we get 2 in one game, and then all of a sudden they're kicking off from the 50. Those are all situations we cover every week, and you can hear him on the sideline immediately talking the coaching points and regurgitating what we've been saying, over, because we go over those every week because you never know when they're going to come up. And so his football IQ is maybe something that gets overlooked. I think he's got a really good knack and understanding of the game. And so those are really the things I think he brings to the table the most.
There's Terrence Boudet, blocks the punt. I think he came close on another one, had the one a couple of years ago. What does it take to block punts? What kind of skill set does that take?
Yeah, believe it or not, it's a little, some guys kind of have a knack for it, and Terrence is one of those guys. And it's something that we actually work on a ton in OTAs and training camp. The actual skill of blocking a punt, I think it maybe sound easier said than done. Number one, Terrence has tremendous effort. He's really another guy through 12 games who has been very, very productive for us in special teams in every area, not just the block kicks and the block punts, and his effort has been great. But he's also been in punt coverage. He's been on kickoff coverage. He's been in kick return. He's been really, at some point during this season, he's been on all 6 units: punt return, kick return, field goal block. And that's an impressive thing to say about a defensive lineman. As far as the block kicks go, he gives great effort. He's a tough guy to block. He's a bigger body. He's a good rusher. He's a good athlete for his size, and so all those things. And then when you get to the block spot, a lot of times guys get back there and you see guys using terrible techniques, swatting at the ball and hands apart and things like that. And he kind of executes what we're looking for. And that's just Terrence. Terrence is a guy that comes here every day, does exactly what we're asking him to do. Unbelievable work ethic, and that's been him since he walked in the door. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's having success.
Darren, you mentioned the importance that John plays with your kickers, but can you give specifics on what he does?
John Denny? Yeah. I mean, not only is John a great role model for the specialists, John's a great role model for the team and really overall. And what he does is I just think he sets an unbelievable example on what it is to be a pro, no matter the position. And there's not many long snappers in the league. You could probably say, if you look at the 32 of them, that are going to be a role model. And because of his work ethic, I could talk to him about off the field as well. He's a great father. He's a great husband. He's a great community guy. But that kind of carries over. He's a great leader by example. Apparently, he's a great violinist as well. But there's, I was actually joking around the other day, like John's one of those guys that whatever he decides to put his mind to, he does well. And so he's one of those guys that's always right here. He never gets too upset, never gets too down, which is great mentality for his position. But I think a lot of other guys see that. He's always in here working on his nutrition, working on his health, working on his body, working on his the sports science stuff. And so that's why I think the longevity for him, he's in great shape for a guy his age. And so he's just really a great guy to have around, not only for Cody and for Matt, but really for everybody. And he doesn't say a lot, and when he does speak, he's like that old E.F. Hutton commercial, and when he talks, people listen, because when he does talk, the things he's saying are varied. He's only been up in front of the team maybe I can count on one hand in all the time I've been here, but every time he speaks in front of the team, everybody gets something out of it. So it's just, again, he's a guy that I think really has more importance in this building than people would understand.
Darren, what actually is the upgrade when you're talking about the change of kicker?
Yeah.
There's an upgrade to be made. What is the upgrade that you have made specifically?
Yeah, so I just thought we needed more consistency at the position. Andrew Franks was a very talented kicker. I thought we were just inconsistent there. The last couple of years, he made some big kicks and all that. What Cody's done in his career is just kind of the same thing over and over again. It's not what you see is what you get, more or less. Sometimes, it really is just that consistency thing. And so that's where I thought we can make an upgrade overall in everything that we do, our kickoffs, our high kicks, short kicks, field goals, PATs, onside kicks, whatever it is. I just thought it was a better overall upgrade across the board.
Yep.
Appreciate it, guys.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I ask what the hell happened on that skip snap?
Only talking stuff. Yeah.
Is Denny in danger of being cut?
I thought